This is episode 11, entitled Rest and Play: Startups, Computer Games, Fishing, and Acting Classes. Trying to find the next big thing. Hello world! Welcome to the show We Work, Rest, and Play. This is where we dissect, decipher, and demystify people's work and their lives outside of work. I'm Dan, your host, and welcome to episode 11. Life isn't just about work, nor should it be. And so we move on to Rest and Play, where we explore how we can recharge and have a bit of fun in spite of the daily hustle and bustle of our lives. And so we continue to chat with Pius. And after having dissected his work life in the previous 2 episodes, we shall now find out what a successful software engineer gets up to for rest and play. As we transition towards rest, Pius talks about his experiences of trying to get a startup up and running, trying to find the next big thing, computer games he's playing and his all-time favorite. He gives his Netflix/HBO TV series recommendations, and boxing, spearfishing, beach fishing, acting classes, poker, drinking, partying, and more. Now you can see Pius is not afraid to try new things, and you'll see we had lots of fun chatting about that stuff. And just one more thing. As you'll hear, this interview was done over Skype, hence the difference in sound quality. It's not fantastic, but I hope it's okay. Alrighty, here we go. Pius reminds us that we gotta get busy living, and so to find out more, on to episode 11. Right, so we're transitioning towards rest. As I like to say, we'll have a work/rest pit stop type of thing, if it's relevant. It may or may not be relevant, but I'd sort of like to ask, Pius, are there any projects or ventures that you pursue on the side at all at the moment?
The real answer is no. But for the past, very long time, I have been exploring a lot of different things. None of them have really gotten off the ground. I'm probably not the ideal entrepreneur in a sense. I'm a little bit too cautious before I start something. I don't like wasting time. But really the correct mentality for an entrepreneur is to just go for it. And any failure is just the next step to win. But I guess just my personality is not really like that. And I'm also a little bit lazy. I do like to rest and play a bit too hard. So, it's always. I always have my eyes on startups and opportunities, and I have discussed a whole bunch of different things. Like the closest I ever got to getting something up and running was I partnered with 2 mates. One guy is he kind of spent some work in Sweden. So he's an Aussie dude. Went to Sweden for 5 years, and he basically worked for like an incubator type thing for a media company. And they basically got funding to test out a whole bunch of different ideas. So they had about 100, and they picked the best 10, and he basically would do interviews and customer research and all that to validate those ideas. So they developed a good system to, in a lean way, take something from an idea in your head to a validated product, which means they would gather real data from real customers, and basically validate how good the idea is, how keen they are to use it, how much they pay for it, and all that market research stuff. That means you're able to solidify. Like if you have an idea, you always think it's awesome, but then when you might actually go out building or design and end up having no customers because it really doesn't fit the market need, or there's a whole bunch of stuff, right? So he developed this system to be able to validate and increase your chances by a lot to actually succeed in that, or decide to not do it or kind of pivot slightly and change to something else. So I partnered with him and another guy who I grew up with who works in Hong Kong, Europe, and Southeast Asian countries. They do a bunch of projects. He's kind of like a private equity guy. He has a network of investors that basically he starts projects up with and helps in the starting up of those businesses. They're not really in tech, but they've been wanting to get into the tech environment. So the three of us, we're going to get together and kind of try to start up like an incubator type thing in Sydney. Basically looking at people at the seed phase, people that have an idea but don't really know how to go forward with it. And the three of us combined know a lot about that. But to be honest, finding people with good ideas and also finding the people with good ideas that are willing to let go of their ideas with another agency it's pretty tough. So
okay, so you were wanting to start an incubator type of service in the sense that you were wanting to help other potential startups along their journey. That was your idea, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So a startup to help other startups, basically.
Yes, that's it. And combined, we actually do have the resources to do that. It's just finding the customers, especially in Australia. It's kind of a hard market.
Is this a relatively recent thing, or it's quite a while ago?
Probably active in it about a year ago.
Interesting. Well, you have to keep me posted on that one. I'm just out of curiosity. It'd be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah, we'll do. We honestly, we haven't really done anything about it for the last 6 months. So, kind of went a little bit stale because just had no customers.
I mean, it's so hard, right?
We did have one, actually, but that didn't work out.
Okay.
For unrelated reasons.
Okay. All right, no worries. All right, cool. Then we'll just move straight on to rest. And I always like to kick off and ask, roughly how many hours of sleep do you normally get every night?
Oh, crap! Well, man, I'll be lucky to get 6 hours.
Lucky to get 6 hours.
Yeah, and that's more because, actually, a lot of times I get 8 because I get to sleep in. But I don't really sleep well. There's too many devices around me, and I don't have a good sleeping pattern, and I'm a smoker as well. So, a lot of things combined, my sleep's not very good, and I snore. So sometimes, like I find I wake up and I find it hard to get back to sleep.
Right.
That's because my brain is very active at night and it's floppy during the morning.
So you're a bit of a night owl type of person.
Yeah. So when at sleep time, like around 12 o'clock, man, my mind's at full blast. Like I can do anything. Unless when all these ideas come in my head and all that.
So what time do you normally go to bed then, generally?
12 at the very earliest.
Right. And then typically?
Typically, I'll fall asleep maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock.
And that's during the weekday, yeah?
Yeah.
And does that change much during the weekend? Are you sleeping much later on the weekend?
I do. And I also wake up heaps later. So I'm not really, like by the time I kind of reel my sleeping pattern back in during the weekdays, I screw it all up on the weekend. So my sleep ethic is actually quite horrible and something I'm trying to work.
Right. And when you said you'd be lucky, I mean, you did mention those days when you sleep in for 8 hours or whatever, and I assume that's mostly on the weekends.
I know on the weekend, man, I give a good 12 hours.
Oh, good on you. Good on you. Okay, good. So that makes up for it. But when you say you'd be lucky to get 6 hours, are you generally erring towards the 5-hour mark, or how close to 6 hours are you getting typically?
I'm honestly not sure because I'm tracking the times I wake up. So to be honest, I can't really tell you, but I feel like I'm lucky to get 6 of like solid uninterrupted sleep. But usually like from time I fall asleep to time I get up, it's usually like 8 hours, but with interrupted, and sometimes I don't even get to sleep. like until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Okay. Is there a specific number of hours you strive for that you'd like to get?
Yeah, 8. Like 8 of uninterrupted would be good. So that would mean I should probably try to get into bed, turn everything off by around 10 or 11 or 10:30. But that usually doesn't happen because I'm too busy playing computer games, watching something on Netflix, or just browsing Facebook.
Nice, nice. Okay. I'll come back to computer games in a second. Um,
Yeah.
um, so just, okay, so this rest section, we'll keep it relatively short and we'll just go straight to play. But before we do so, um, generally, are there any daily or regular specific rituals you live by or try to stick with? And that's in the context of trying to recharge the batteries.
Ah, um, that's always changes. I'm not really a man of what do you call it? The scheduled people.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not really a man of habit. Um, but recently, the past year or two, I play a lot of computer games.
Mm-hmm.
I find that's a really good wind down.
Okay.
In the past, it was like if it wasn't, I didn't play computer games for a long time until recently. But before that, like I'd wind down with like just a simple game on my phone, an app I downloaded, a Candy Crush that got me hooked for a while. Yeah, stuff like that. I find that really just some other thing that kind of activates my brain in a different way to coding. I find is a really good way to wind down, or anything that keeps my mind off work. Because if I don't wind down, my mind is stuck on what I'm doing at work.
Oh,
So I find
really?
that's really important. Yeah.
So even if after you clock off, like when you're just lying in bed and you're not actively distracted by something else, you might suddenly think
Oh
of
yeah.
that work problem.
Yeah, work problem, or if it's not a work problem, it's like other just work general issues or stuff I want to do or career things, app ideas. That's a big one. How do
Wow.
I how do I reach the moon, right? Like how do I get that next big app idea, or how do I start a new business to to get me that next Lambo? Like all that stuff
Now
goes through my head.
right, and coming back to this app idea. Now you're talking about smartphone app idea, right?
No, I'm talking general, like an application
Any app.
using software. Yeah,
Okay.
anything.
Is this in the work context or is this in the context of doing your own thing?
Context of doing my own thing, because that is my ultimate dream
Of
to
course.
have my own company.
No, because
Yeah.
it's funny. Because I mean, many of us can all relate to, it might be over lunch or dinner or beers or whatever. Oh, guys, I've got this awesome app idea, and so let's do it. And then 99 times out of 100, you jump on Google or the App Store, and someone's already done it.
Yeah. Oh man, my husband crashed so many times. Man. The last example was
Uh-huh.
like what is cryptocurrency stuff, right?
Right.
Investing in it is a nightmare. Like it's so stressful. I lost a little bit of money, not much, but I made some money and then lost some. It's so hard to predict it, and I think the most successful people in that market, like some successful people I've heard of, are not people that try to make money through investing in it, but make money around it. Like I think I told you when I met you in Korea, an example of my cousin had a mate who invested into a cryptocurrency exchange, which is currently
Right.
the focus in Korea. Um, he invested like 20,000 into that, and he recently, just a month ago, retired. He quit work because he got paid out 80 million as
Whoa.
from that investment into the cryptocurrency exchange, which, as we all know, would make money on every transaction, regardless of whether it was going up or down.
How
So,
much did he invest? 20,000, did you say?
yeah.
And he got 80 million.
Yep. So he
Holy
got into that
mackerel.
particular business quite early. And yeah, and apparently, I don't know how he's going to get paid that same amount again a year later. So,
What?
and, and he was just a trader. He was just a normal stock trader earning 50K a year for the same company that my cousin worked at. So he was just a regular,
Whoa.
but he just made the right investment.
How 50K? I thought traders earn much more than that, than 50K a year.
I don't know, maybe he was a low position or something, but um, He was just like a regular dude with a humble salary, but
Wow.
made a investment.
Good on him. I'm extremely jealous, but good on him.
Mm.
Damn it.
That's even better than the people that bought some Bitcoin a while ago
Hell
and made like
yeah.
2 million. So,
Oh my goodness.
anyway,
Oh,
stories like that.
that's a happy story for that person.
Mm. Yeah. So I thought of an idea which I thought was
Go on.
genius.
Yep.
I thought of um, what if I make a cryptocurrency which or it doesn't even have to be a cryptocurrency, but something which automates the lottery. Like in Australia, the lottery is a big thing. Everyone does it, right?
Right.
Um, everything's all the lotteries are centralized. You don't really know what's going on. You don't know whether you're getting rewarded or whatever. But if
Oh.
the lottery was just all programmed, um, and you can program all of that. You can randomly generate winning numbers and randomly pay out a percentage of all the money that came in, and just give a fee. And I thought that's a great idea. but but I looked on Google and there's so many. I think there's a lot. There's a lot of like lottery, cryptocurrency lotteries. So I thought,
Wow.
here's that.
Interesting. Well, it's good. You got to keep something will hopefully eventually hit.
Yeah, I still got a few ideas that I think would work.
Yep.
It's it's hard to it's hard to get off the ground for a lot of reasons. Uh, yeah, and like I guess the biggest thing is fear because you got to get a lot of things right. And it's, any startup, no matter how good the idea is, no matter how much everything matches up, it's still a big gamble. There's still very low percentage of success.
Exactly.
So
Mm.
I guess that's the biggest barrier for me.
Yeah, high risk, high reward. That's what it's all about, I guess. Yeah. Good on you, man. So I guess just on the wind down topic, so you like you said, you've mentioned you like to wind down with computer games, or phone games. While we're on the topic, what computer games are you playing these days?
Um, so there's just one main game I play, which is Dota,
Dota?
DOTA, Defense of the Nations, Dota 2.
Yep.
Um, it's a lot of people would have heard of League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a parallel competitor of League of Legends.
Okay.
Um, I have a lot of mates that play it, so yeah, I play it a bit, and that's fun. It's a competitive game. It's like a five on five kind of a sport. Everyone starts out equal, and then there's one winner after about 30 minutes to an hour. Um,
Mm. Okay.
mm. And I find that's good because that keeps your brain active. It's kind of like playing a sport, but you're sitting on your computer.
Nice. Okay. What about are there any other games on your phone that you're playing other than Candy Crush?
I know I don't play any games on my phone now, but I used to play like whatever was popular at the time, like Candy Crush or Boom Beach or like Farmville when that was ages back.
Did you say
Um,
Farm Build?
Farmville.
Oh,
Remember
Farmville, sorry.
Farmville? It was a Facebook game ages back. It was a long time ago. I think it was around 10 years ago. But,
Right. Okay, interesting. Do you have a? I asked this to one of my other guests. Actually, his name was Dennis in one of the first few episodes. I want to ask you the same question. Do you have any all-time favorite computer game or games?
oh, this is going back years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my favorite games was X-Wing vs TIE Fighter. Yeah, there's a
Oh.
theme going. I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan. X-Wing vs TIE Fighter was like a flight simulation in space,
Mm-hmm.
and you use a joystick. And there's missions you have to complete. Like you gotta protect certain containers from being destroyed by these enemy smugglers, and it was a very team game as well, which made it really fun. Um,
Mm.
you gotta shoot down other ships, and yeah, but yeah, that was like to all the guys that I know that play Star Wars games, they all say that was the best Star Wars game of all time, and I still think that was one of the best games.
Wow. Okay. Any other favorite computer games other than that one?
I guess Dota. Dota is a very good multiplayer game that I love doing.
Mm.
Um, I have a Mac, so I don't really get to play most of the good recent games that are out because they don't really like PUBG Battlegrounds. I want to play that because that's really famous at the moment, but it doesn't work on the PC. So
PUBG
I don't know.
Battlegrounds.
Yeah, that's huge at the moment. I think that's probably the most played game at the moment.
Okay.
In general, I'm not really a computer game kind of guy. It's just that lately it's been the best kind of wind down for me.
You mentioned the other thing you did was Netflix, or you watched Netflix. Black Mirror was something you watched at work. Are there any other series or programs you like to watch on Netflix?
Yeah, I don't watch many on Netflix these days, but the big ones I love. Game of Thrones, obviously. Who doesn't love Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones isn't on Netflix though, right?
Oh no, that's just
Okay, just general.
I
Right, go on.
legally downloaded.
Yep. Yeah.
Westworld is also a good show.
Westworld.
I can't wait till that starts again.
Okay.
You love Westworld. It's
Yeah.
great.
All right.
Black Mirror, and just recently, I discovered a comedy, The Good Place. That's a good one. That's on Australian Netflix at least. It's probably on American as well.
Okay.
So that stars Kristen Bell, who I'm a fan of. And yeah, that's a great show. It's Kristen Bell goes to heaven and realizes that it was a mistake. She's actually a bad person and she doesn't deserve to be in the good place.
Oh.
And she's trying to act like a good person and not get found out. It's a pretty good show. I like it.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Season 2 just ended. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's really different to all the other comedies. Like, it's a completely new concept, which makes it so refreshing. And yeah, it's good fun.
So you mentioned computer games, Netflix. Is there anything else you like to do to wind down at all?
Not really. I guess I think that's
cool.
about it.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll move on to the play section then. It's sort of very overlappy. Essentially, many will see it as one in the same thing. But other than what you've mentioned, are there any? Generally, I ask, are there any specific hobbies or special interests that you pursue? And it sounds like you are a big fan of Star Wars. How does your interest in Star Wars, how is that satiated?
Well, lately I don't really do much. I'm an adult now, so I don't really obsess over it as much anymore.
There's a lot of adults that are obsessed over Star Wars still, and nothing wrong with that.
I kind of learned that being over obsessed with something isn't really a good quality trait, especially. So I kind of stay away from that. But yeah, like when I was younger, I used to read a lot of Star Wars books, which were extensions of the Star Wars universe, and that was a lot of fun. Besides that, not much more.
Right.
Besides getting excited when the new Star Wars came out.
What did you think about the new Star Wars?
The most recent one, J.J. Abrams, yeah, fantastic. Like, he's really, and yeah, I really like that they built up your expectations for like you'd think a normal movie cliche would happen, but they didn't. That was pretty cool.
Okay, interesting.
And I like what they're doing with this story compared to George Lucas's prequels.
Oh, right. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, which has, let's say, received a lot of mixed reactions. I don't, actually, maybe not so mixed, but yeah, we won't go there. But very good. Okay, very good. Any other specific hobbies or special interests you pursue in general?
Oh, well, just me as a person, I have a pretty low attention span, so I find that I want to get into this certain hobby, but it doesn't last long. I lose interest quickly. Once I get the hang of it, I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. So I got into a lot of different things. Like, I got into boxing for a while. I really loved it.
Nice.
But then I got busy, forgot about it. Boxing changed my whole physique. It was great. Like, I was so healthy at that time.
Right.
But now, really, I'm a bit overweight.
Yeah, no, yeah, me too. I did it for a little bit as well. I didn't actually manage to. My dream was to at least fight in one amateur fight, but then I got a shoulder injury which stopped my boxing. I won't call it career, but pursuit.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even get to that stage. I didn't even get to spar. Like,
oh yeah, I didn't even get to spar as well. I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, at my place was pretty full on. It wasn't like just an exercise place. It was at a PCYC.
Oh wow, okay, that's full on.
Trained with like legit like people that were built with like horses, and legit, um, like juveniles that had been to jail and um. So I was dating some pretty scary people.
Wow.
Um, so they're like, you can't spar until you've trained for at least a solid 6 months to a year.
Right.
Um, I still had so much fun. I set up my own boxing bag at home and I was doing it every day.
Yep.
And
Fantastic.
I got so fit with it. Yeah. I've done a whole bunch of stuff. So I've, I got into spearfishing at one stage.
Oh,
I had a mate
wow.
that was in, and I tried that a bit and that was fun.
Hang on.
Um,
So when you say spearfishing,
mhm.
hang on. So you're on like what, the east coast of Sydney, Australia, and what, you've got a spear or like a harpoon or something, and what are you doing?
Okay. So you gotta get a lot of gear for it. You gotta get a full wetsuit, a snorkel, flippers, gloves, a knife that you strap on. You gotta get a floating device. So it's a rope that attaches to your gun that you always have with you, and the floating device kind of tells people that you're diving that area, so boats don't run over you and stuff like that.
Oh,
It's like a
wow.
safety. And also shows your friends where you are. But yeah, so at first I started off with a hand spear. So it's kind of like a long spear with like a surgical tube attached to the end, which is elastic. So you pull the elastic, um, and you grab onto the spear. When you release the spear, the elastic band that fires and it shoots off the fish. But then I got a small pneumatic gun that I
Wow.
ordered of him. And you just load it up and you shoot the fish. Um, I never got to really catch anything really big because I'm a smoker. I couldn't really hold my breath for too long.
All
I could only
right.
really hold my breath for about a minute at the most. Well,
Right.
actually, no, less than that in the seawater because it's a little bit more scary. But
Mm-hmm.
it's so much fun. It's being on. There are some days where like it's a really warm day, and there's just thousands of fish everywhere, and it's a beautiful sight on the water. So I found
Wow.
that really interesting.
So where did you
Um,
typically go to do your spearfishing?
So in Sydney, there's two quite good places, Little Bay and La Perouse Bay Island, that are great for fishing. Um, there were probably more places, but I don't know about them. Um, but those two places are really good.
So okay, that sounds really cool. So once you catch a fish, what do you do with it? Do you eat it? What do you?
Well, I never really caught anything eat worthy, but the mate of mine that took me, that introduced me to it, he was quite good. He had a big gun and he could hold his breath for a while. He he caught a cuttlefish when I was
Wow.
with him. A big one as well. And apparently, when you shoot a cuttlefish, um, they all their colors just change rapidly, and they kind of go rainbow colored.
Wow.
Um,
That's
it's
pretty
beautiful.
freaky.
So yeah, he took that home and ate it. Yeah, so there are lots of stuff you can catch, but the times I went, we didn't really catch anything decent. Yeah. But yeah, even if you don't catch anything, it's so much fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Was there anything else you've dabbled in?
I've took a few singing lessons because
What
just
was
thought
say it again? What sort of singing
singing.
lessons?
I s- Just well, the teacher I went to was a classical opera singer.
Wow.
And and the technique that he taught um was the pure resonance in your throat. Um, and it enables you like he has a thing against pop singers because they use they add all these styles and they have a really airy voice and like it might sound good with the mic, but without the mic, you don't really have much resonance. And
Mm.
like there's a whole science behind singing apparently. And the really good singers, they're able to create a certain sound and a resonance just naturally through the voice, and they're the ones that sound the best. So he always taught the most pure form of singing. So I did a bit of that. I'm still not a great singer.
Well,
um,
I'm tempted to get you to give us a sample.
no way.
Maybe
This is
next
something
time.
I do when I'm drunk with people. And
All right. Okay. Next time you've had a few, I'm gonna have to ask you. I'm interested. Your seeing teacher.
yeah,
Does he say out of the pop singers, are there any that he respects, so to speak, for
no,
their
he hates he
all of
thinks all
them,
shit. Yeah,
even like your
he can't
Mariah?
even listen to pop music because he just gets horrified because he can hear every little mistake they're doing. Um,
Right. What about
Yeah, no.
your Mariah Careys and your Whitney Houstons and your
They in his mind, they were shit. He judges all,
Okay.
even Adele. He doesn't even respect.
Wow. Okay.
And
Each
this guy is very good. Like he's in the classical opera space. He's done a lot of like pretty good shows.
Wow.
In
Okay.
in that community, is he's
Sure.
respected,
Sure,
but
sure.
in the normal pop environment, no one knows anything
Sure,
about the
sure,
stuff.
sure. Each to their own. Good on him. Far out.
Yeah,
Jeez. Singing lessons, that's pretty awesome. Admittedly, I'm a terrible singer, and that's something I've always wanted to improve, but maybe in
yeah,
another
you should
life.
give it a go. It would change your life. Like, not really change your life, but like it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Like
I can imagine. I can imagine.
I also took even more stranger than that. I
Mm.
took some acting lessons.
Oh, hey, that's seriously, man. That's something I would have loved to have done one day. How did you
Mm.
find that?
And that is so fun.
Yeah?
Like I loved it.
Awesome.
I even met some like semi famous people. I met a guy that used to be in what was the name? Justice Crew. They won Australian Idol once, like they were a dance crew.
Oh,
They
wow.
won Australian Idol. He was one of those other students. He was really good at acting as well.
Hang on.
That's his new kind of.
So with your acting lessons, what was your motivation? Like, did you want to appear on TV, a movie, an advertisement, or was it just for fun?
Like I didn't really have that much confidence in myself
Mm.
to even dream that big. But when I was very little, I always wanted to be a movie star. That was my first. Like when they ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? A fireman or policeman, all that. When people asked me when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be a movie star.
Mm. Nice.
My mom like, you're very good at like arguing, so maybe you should be like a lawyer or like a doctor.
Oh, wow. So hang on, so the acting lessons, was that a relatively recent thing?
That was probably about 5 years ago ish. It was oh no, long 7, 8 years ago actually before I got this job. Um,
Right.
yeah, that was a stage when I was wanting to try all this new stuff, and that was really fun.
Did you ever go to any auditions?
No, no, I wasn't that good. Like I was terrible.
Still.
I only took a few, and I got really intimidated when my teacher invited me to a bit more of an advanced class,
Right.
and the people that I met were actually very, very good. And I did a terrible job in one of them. I was too embarrassed to go back.
Good on you for trying though.
Yeah, it was good. My first few lessons, the beginning classes, I was doing alright.
Hang on, but the
Um,
thing is, I mean, what in your eyes, what defines a good actor? Like, I mean,
well,
it,
first of all, you got to remember your lines, which I wasn't very good at. Second of all, so these days, method acting is like the new thing.
what
Because
is
there's a
that?
lot of techniques to acting as well, and yeah, method acting seems to be the thing. And that involves taking real past experiences and emotions
Hmm.
and um, actually bringing them up, like actually bringing back those past experiences and feeling them at the time. Um, so, like the traditional method of acting was like if you want to express a certain emotion or like you do a lot of indicating, like you put your hand here, you put on a certain facial expression, and you
Hmm.
memorize your hand movements and your facial expressions and your tone of voice and all of that stuff to create the story. But that's the old way. The method acting is first you remember your lines off by heart, so they just come naturally, and then you absolutely bring that emotion, so you feel it at the time in the scene, and you just go with the flow. You let it go through your body, filter it through you mix it in with your own personality. So the emotions that come out, like you can't really plan for exactly how you're going to look, how your facial expression is going to be, where you're going to move, what you're going to do with your hands. It just comes naturally out of the emotion. And
Wow.
that creates really great experiences for TV, really great reactions. And that's the kind of stuff that wins Oscars and stuff like that.
Mm. Wow.
So thing, and that's something I couldn't do at the time. I was just too self-conscious about everyone watching me, and
Of course.
I couldn't get into the emotion. So yeah, I
Wow.
found that but that was still fun to do, and watching other people like do it as well was actually quite fun.
Mm. That's
And
fascinating.
you actually meet a lot of like hotties.
Well,
Yeah, it's good to meet people as well.
good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Wow, there's a whole smorgasbord of stuff here. Boxing, spearfishing, classical skiing, acting. Mate, is there anything else?
Fishing.
Yep.
My brother got really into fishing. He's a pro. Like he catches like massive jewfish.
Wow.
Like 20 kilos, over 20 kilos. I went with him and caught a 16-kilo jewfish.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's massive.
Hang on,
I
hang on.
got a picture.
So what type of fishing? Are we talking rock fishing, beach fishing, deep
Beach
sea
fishing.
fishing? Beach?
Yeah. When we discovered beach fishing,
Yeah.
people don't think you can catch much at the beach, but there's a lot at the beach, and they're massive. Anything you catch at the beach is huge.
Hang on, hang on. So you're casting your rod from the sand, the shore of the beach, not the rock, but
Yeah, the
the
shore of the beach. Yeah. So there's a process to this as well. My brother worked out the whole science over years of researching and practice. So it's actually hard work. People like see us catch big fish. They want to come with us. They come with us once, and they're like, they'll never do it again
Yeah,
it's really hard.
because I've done a fair bit of fishing myself, and yeah, beach fishing is definitely not as easy as some people may think it is.
It's so much hard work. So we go. It's freaking cold on the beach as well. And we go overnight. So we go rugged up in like multiple layers of jackets. We
Yeah.
bring a comfortable sitting chair. We bring a rod holder which is sticking to the sand.
Yeah.
We bring all the bait, with buckets and all that.
Uh-huh.
We bring all the fishing gear, knives, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um, we also, before we leave the car, we put on these waders. So those people that wear those big plastic boots that come all the way up to the top of your chest.
Oh yeah,
And you can walk through water. So we put that on.
Oh
So we're wearing this
wow.
big heavy plastic gear as well.
Right.
We go down to the beach. We have massive rods as well. Like to go on the beach, you need to cast really long.
Yeah, right.
So in order to do that, you need like a 12-foot rod.
Wow.
Not a 12-foot rod. Like no,
Super
it's just a
long.
massive. Yeah, 3 meters at least. Super long rod with massive sinkers. So yeah, we go to the beach. We set up, and then we put on massive baits. We kind of head down to the beach. We go as far as we can without getting washed out, too wet, and then we cast the rod out into the gutters and channels. So my brother was able to look at the waves of the water and determine where it was deep.
Right.
So every beach, you know how they have rips?
Yep.
All the water comes in through like a deep channel and comes out in the rip. So we either cast our rods into the rip or into the channel.
Mm.
And you could see where those are from the waves. So we'd cast our bait into those, and then we'd come back, put a rod in our fishing holder, have a glow stick at the top of that, sit in our chair, and we go to sleep.
Oh.
And then as soon as we hear the sound of, because you could wait 12 hours and get nothing. There's a lot of weeks where you do that.
Right.
It takes a lot of patience. Sometimes you get hours with nothing. So we fall asleep. But when you get a big fish hook on, you can hear your reel spinning.
Exactly, just going nuts,
You can
right?
hear the drag going. Yeah, it's just going zzz, and then you look at your rod, it's buckling over. So you go, man, bringing in the fish is freaking hard work. The first time I caught a big fish, I was so tired and my arm was hurting so much. I almost asked my brother to take the rod,
Yeah.
but I thought, no, that's the most pussy worst thing you could do. I held in there, and then eventually, the fish came in because it was tired, and then my brother picked it up out of the water.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the first, just only the beginning. That's the easy part. The hard part is hauling that big ass fish back to your car, and that's like a 30-minute walk.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So taking that, like, even though it was only 16 kilos, like there's nothing to hold on to. It's a slippery fish with not much of a grip. So you got to hold it in both hands. And I was so tired. I was taking 5 steps, resting. Another 5 steps,
Don't you have a bucket or something?
It doesn't fit in a bucket. Like, we need a free bathtub to carry this fish, to hold those fish. So we carry it with our hands, put it into a bag and put it in our boot. And then after a 12-hour night, we get home, and then we have to gut the fish. And that's hard work. You got to hold it up with our hand, get a knife, and take out all the guts.
Yep.
And then we slice it up, sashimi it, and then that's enough to feed like 5 families. Like, I gave it to a buffet.
So you normally, with a freshly caught fish, you take it home, and do you normally have it as sashimi, as raw, or how do you normally eat it?
There's so much meat on those fish that we have some as sashimi, we cook some. Like when brothers, we make recipes, and there's still enough left over to give to other families.
Wow.
To give it to our family, friends and stuff.
I'm not sure that's worth the effort, mate. Like, it sounds like...
no, like, yeah, I guess doing it every week. Well, I guess it depends on how much you love it. Like, my brother gets a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And honestly, like, the one photo I have of that big fish, like, I've shown so many people, and just seeing people go, wow, man, that fish is bigger than you. Like, it's just good.
I can imagine, I mean, sure, like that exhilaration of bringing that fish in, or actually just seeing the reel go crazy. I think you just get your adrenaline going like crazy.
It's good fun, and something to be proud of as well.
Well, is there a particular beach that you guys normally would go to for this, or is this secret knowledge?
No, actually, because the beaches, where the channels and all the rips and all that, the pattern of the sand keeps changing. So it always depends, and depends on the weather, and like a beach with seaweed is no good. So usually my brother picks a general location. Usually it goes up north towards the entrance, and then if you find the beach, look at the waves. If you can't find a good channel that's close enough, then you move up to next. Sometimes you spend an hour driving to every beach that are adjacent to each other until you find a good one.
That's almost like surfers looking for the right surf conditions. You're doing the same thing, but looking for fishing conditions.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And there'll be some times we go in, we set up and everything, cast our line in, and there's so much seaweed in the area, our line just gets tangled in seaweed. Every time, so we can't fish it. So we pack up and go to the next beach.
That's so frustrating.
It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Wow.
The one I caught mine at Cronulla Beach, actually.
Wow.
It's actually like a popular place for people to go swimming and surfing. So I never thought that would be a good fishing place. But yeah, we went. We didn't go where people normally swim. We went up north a lot. And yeah, that's where I caught it.
Oh wow. Mate, you've done a bit of everything. Is there anything else on top of that you've done?
I like to play poker now and then.
Is that Texas Hold'em?
Texas Hold'em, yeah. The thing I love about that game is you're not playing against the house, which is they've always designed the odds to be against you, but you're playing with other people. Like the house takes a small percentage of the pot to keep their profits, but that's a small amount to the amount that you're making on the table. So you play with other people. So Friday nights and Saturday nights are great because people that are drunk, people that are just out for a party, they can't get drunk, they don't know how to play poker, but they're like, hey, and then people love it when those guys sit on the table because they're just like, yum, free money. Take it for that. But yeah, even in general, like there's a lot of regulars that go, and the best thing I love about it is like you're sitting over a table with 9 other people, and there's like all races and ages love to play poker. It's the one place where there's no discrimination. Everyone's equal. Doesn't matter where you're from, how old you are. Everyone's equal. Like
excellent.
You're playing with a lot of really old guys, and you're speaking like mates, people from all different countries, and you just talk and connect about just a bunch of random stuff and about the game as well. You talk about sports, all that stuff. So it's a really fun way to meet people and just chat, and I find it a really relaxing environment.
Are you playing at what, the casino or the local pub or?
Yeah, there's only one place where they legally have cash games. So there's tournaments and there's cash. I don't like tournaments because the odds of winning are much lower. But cash games, you can sit down whenever and leave whenever.
And that's a what at the Star Casino, is it?
Yes, they have that as well. Most casinos have like a Texas Hold'em area.
Right. Okay. So the Star Casino is the main casino in Sydney. I think has the one in Barangaroo opened yet?
No, this hasn't even been built. There's all these complications of they haven't even started building it.
Oh, okay. Yep. So there's one main casino in Sydney, and that's called the Star. It used to be called Star City, and there's a second one that's being built just a throw stones away in a new.
Not quite a throw stones away. They've had the designs. Everyone's seen the designs for it. They know where they want to do it, but
Right.
it might not even happen. There's a lot of
Really?
complications. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I love the game. Like there's a science to it as well, and like it has such a depth of skill level. And if you're a better player, then you're bound to make money. So as long as you learn the game, like know the odds, and know the different tricks you can use, and know where you sit compared to other people in terms of skill level, then you can come out with a profit most of the time.
Oh, so it sounds like you do pretty well for yourself generally when you're playing.
Well, when I first started out, I was losing a lot of money, but I had fun anyway, so I didn't care.
Yep.
But then, I did develop. I did learn a lot about it, and then I got pretty good. And then I was winning most of the time.
Ah, good on you.
Yeah, but sometimes there's these nights where you get really frustrated. They call it tilt. Like the game can be really emotional. So once you get put in a bad mood, you can sometimes, if you don't have a huge amount of self-control, you can get a little bit emotional and then start to play bad. Even though you know you're playing bad, you don't care because you just get lucky.
No.
So those nights sometimes you can lose a lot, and that steers me away I take a break for a really long time.
Okay. That's wise. Very good. Wow. Dare I say, is there anything else that you mentioned earlier on that you don't have a lot of hobbies, but mate, that's I mean, even though you're not doing all of them at the same time, it's quite a lot of varied interest, which I think is pretty impressive. Is it
But I haven't really become an expert.
Still, it's all about having fun and enjoying it. So I think that's the main focus. Is there anything else that you want to mention?
Drinking and socializing is that a hobby?
Of course it is. Drinking and socializing. Most certainly.
Yeah.
What's your favorite poison, mate?
Favorite poison? Really depends on the environment. Like I think whiskey is I drink often. I like that. Um, I do have a great appreciation, particularly Johnny Walker Green is probably the best value for money.
Say it again, Johnny Walker Green.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Value for money, I would say that's the best. It's the best bang for your buck.
What about your favorite? Do you have a favorite whiskey?
Yeah, Johnny Walker Green.
Oh, that's your favorite. Okay, so it's best bang for your buck, and it's your favorite.
So that one, like sometimes, like it depends. I think if I'm out, and now that I'm a bit older, it's a bit harder for me to get the energy to really have fun. So whenever I think I need a quick boost, I go straight for tequila. Have a few shots of tequila, and funny story in Korea actually. The night before I went out to meet my friends for the first time in Gangnam. Actually, no, we went to Itaewon for our first night out. But 2 nights before, I busted my big toenail. Like, you know when you stub your toe on furniture?
Ouch, yes.
I did that so bad that it was bleeding. Like my toenail half came off.
Oh.
And it was really painful. Everywhere I was walking, it was so bad. And I was even more frustrated because that was right before that all my friends came to Korea.
Oh, no.
And I thought, so anyway, we went out to a club. I was feeling like shit because I could barely walk. And then I was a bit tired, so I thought, you know what, let's have some tequila. Let's get this party going. So I had shots, and as I was meeting people, I was buying more for them and buying more for myself. And then by the end of the night, I was shuffling on the dance floor on my busted treadmill, and I didn't feel a thing.
Good on you.
And like, I was dancing for like 50 hours straight, just having the time of my life. And my friend's like, "Isn't your toe busted, man?" I'm like, so tequila does wonders. It tastes like crap.
The magical potion. The magical
Yeah.
potion. I actually personally don't mind the taste of tequila, but that's for another day.
But it's be expensive.
No, not at all. But what
Okay.
toenail? When you busted it, was that an accident on a night out, or was that just a random?
No, that was I was at my cousin's place, and I was packing all my stuff to go to Gangnam in a hotel. And yeah, while I was packing my stuff, I busted my toenail.
Right. Ouch. Just sounds painful. Just even hearing about it. Far out. Wow. Okay. Mate, that's interesting. We're gonna finish it off very shortly. Just to tie it all together, and this is sort of a random question I just throw in here. Is there actually, before we go there, are there any sort of other hobbies or anything that you wanted to mention that you found quite interesting?
Nothing comes to mind at the moment.
Cool,
Yes.
cool. Obviously, you've done a fair bit already, mate. Jeez. Okay, then last formal question. You've done well to bear with me this long, mate.
Oh, good.
Okay, so this question is, and I like this question. You may have heard this question in various different forms in the past, but I'll ask, if you could go back in time and chat with yourself 20 years ago, what advice would you give yourself?
Are we talking in a specific area, like work, social, just general?
No, anything. Just, I guess, about life in general. Anything that you think, damn, I wish I knew that 20 years ago.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah, that's a great question. Well, there's a lot of private choices that I would probably say that I probably don't want to reveal.
Sure, of course, of course.
More general sense. Well, I'll be like, yeah, I guess the biggest thing is, yeah, don't be afraid. Like, if you want something, just go for it, eh?
I like that.
Yeah, like, and if I was talking to myself, I'll be talking about specific scenarios where you're like you're too much of a pussy here to pull the trigger, but
Right.
you should go for it.
So are you talking about literally anything, or career, or relationships, or?
Relationships, one, career, definitely. I definitely tell myself to be more curious as well in that sense. Yeah, like life, I guess. Like experiences. Yeah, like one of the interesting things that I've learned. I saw just a random video on Facebook about this lady, CEO of a multi-billion-dollar like underground gambling venue or something, which was international. All the richest people in the world would go there.
Oh, really?
And there was an interview with her, and then she was saying, like they did all kinds of weird stuff at this casino, not just gambling but other stuff apparently. But like she was saying, the biggest thing she learned from business is these rich people that have so much money in the world, they don't need money. They don't need objects. They don't need things. When they have everything in the world, what do they seek? They seek experiences. So they come to this place for the experience. They lose millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't care about the money. They don't need it. But they're there for the experience. So the ups and downs, all the random weird services they do. People seek new experiences. I found that interesting because I've never been someone that always wanted a nice car or a nice house. I've never been interested in that kind of material stuff. But I have been very interested in like trying out new experiences. I've come to learn that as I got older, and now I'm very open to new experiences. And I find that's the most exciting. Like that's the reason why I want to get rich, to have new experiences. yeah, that's the kind of thing that motivates me and interests me. Um, so if I had kind of known that a little bit younger, I think yeah, I would have liked that. I think my life would have been a little bit more different.
As
Um,
in, don't be afraid to go for what you want, and don't be afraid
try
to try new
try new things.
things and new
Yeah,
experiences.
yeah. Because I was very conservative, and I didn't like things I wasn't familiar with. But then as I got older, I learned like and to open up and how good it is to open up. And
Mm. Wow, 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 wow. I like that. That's very good. Okay, look, mate, thank you so much. That's the end of it in terms of the official questions. I will finish with what I like to call a bunch of rapid fire questions. And what this is this just goes for 60 seconds, and I'm just gonna throw some random questions at you. And this is just for fun. You won't be held or judged for your responses. This is more just for some fun finishing offering, for want of a
awesome,
better
awesome.
phrase. Now, what I'll do is just for the mood, I have this. I'm going to turn on this 1 minute countdown timer thing, and it sounds
Cool.
like this. Can you hear that?
Nice. Yeah.
So you get the idea, yeah. So this is
Who wants to be a millionaire?
that's it, mate. That's it. So it's that type of thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'll throw a bunch of questions at you, and just say the first thing that comes to mind. Um,
hmm
Now, if you don't know the answer, or a response doesn't come up, or you just don't know, feel free to just say pass, and we'll go straight on to the next question, and we'll just go through as many questions as we can, and then we'll finish off with that, mate. So
Cool.
you psyched up, ready to go?
Yep. Let's do it.
So I'll start the timer after I say the first question. Okay, so here we go. Ready, set, go. What movie did you really like?
Uh, what's your, what the name? This, I forgot the name, but yeah, I would say Shooter. Is my second.
Okay, cool. What song do you really like?
Uh, moment. Song. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Coming up with quick responses.
You're right.
At the moment, Korean song "This Love" by Davichi.
Okay, if you could meet, gotcha. If you could meet anyone in person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh Jesus.
Okay, which celebrity do you find super hot?
Kristen Bell.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
What do you love about this world?
Nature.
Usually the first thing you do in the morning.
Have a shower.
All right. Well done, mate. Well done. Thank you so much. Sorry, mate. That movie you really like question, I think really got ya.
Yeah,
Has that come to mind? Do you recall what it
I
is?
know what it's about. I can't believe I forgot the name.
Who is in it?
Sicario.
It's called Sicario?
Yeah, it's got
Oh my
Emily
God, I haven't
Blunt.
seen that one yet.
Oh, that's
Emily
a great
Blunt.
movie. It's kind of like a movie about drug lords and stuff, and like it's just a great movie. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna add that one to the to watch list, mate.
Yeah.
Um, Hey, but seriously, dude, thank you so much. I will be in touch, and
hmm
I shall chat to you later, mate.
Sweet. Thanks a lot, man.
And that's it for episode 11. A big thank you to Pius once again for being very generous with his time. In the next episode, we will be introducing a new guest, and to give you a little clue on what it's about, we delve into the world of academia. So stay tuned for that and check it out when you get a chance. Also, if you've been enjoying the episodes and you'd love to support the show, there is a way. You can become a patron via patreon.com. That is patreon.com. And you can find us by searching for We Work, Rest and Play, all one word, from the Patreon homepage. You'll gain a bunch of exclusive access and benefits, so definitely worth checking out. Every little bit of support is a huge help and goes a very long way in keeping this show alive. And of course, thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to the podcast via your favorite podcast app to make sure you automatically receive new episodes. And if and when you feel like it, it would be great if you could spend just a few seconds to leave a review to let me know what you think about the episode and the show. You can also refer to the website weworkrestandplay.com for the show notes, and looking forward to speaking with a brand new guest in the next episode. And so until then, live life, take care, and keep smiling. The intro and outro music is an extract from the track entitled Falling Down by the artist named Ryan Little and is used in accordance with the Creative Commons Attribution License. Thank you very much, Ryan. Further references can also be found in the show notes at www.weworkrestandplay.com.